I didn't get rich by accident. I didn't stumble into wealth. I built it brick by brick, habit by habit, thought by thought. And the very first tool I picked up wasn't money. It wasn't luck. It was discipline. Quiet, focused, repeated discipline. Most people want results, but they reject the very structure that creates them. They want wealth without rhythm, success without sacrifice. I chose differently. I chose discipline. And discipline chose to reward me with a life most only imagine. Discipline taught me how to show up, not just when I felt like it, but especially when I didn't. Wealth doesn't ask how you feel, it asks what you do, consistently. And what I did, day after day, became who I am now. Discipline was never about punishment, it was about alignment. It turned my scattered thoughts into a strategy. It turned my dreams into a schedule, and that schedule became sacred because it carried my legacy. I didn't wait for perfect timing. I didn't wait for clarity. I moved when it was hard. I moved when it was quiet. I moved when no one was watching. And those moments, those silent victories, built the fortune everyone now sees. Success isn't for the most talented. It's for the most trained, the ones who act when others hesitate, the ones who build systems instead of waiting for signs. That's what discipline gave me, consistency strong enough to carry any dream. While others slept in, I showed up. While others changed direction, I stayed the course, not because I had more willpower, but because I had a reason. And I honored that reason through structure, every single day. Now comment this. Discipline builds more than habits. It builds my future. Say it with clarity, because this isn't about control, it's about creation. And every day you stay aligned, your future gets louder than your fear. Discipline wasn't a phase. It became my identity. I stopped trying to feel motivated and focused on feeling aligned. I no longer needed energy to start. I created momentum through action. The action itself gave me strength. I didn't need a massive breakthrough. I needed a quiet routine, a pattern that served my purpose. I repeated it, refined it, protected it, until my day wasn't led by chance, but by character. And that character created compound results. I wasn't perfect, but I was persistent. I didn't need to get it right every time. I just needed to keep showing up, and discipline gave me that rhythm. Wealth didn't show up all at once. It was built in invisible moments of follow-through. The world wants magic, but I found power in the mundane, in waking up early, in doing the hard thing first, in honoring what I said yesterday, even when today was harder. That's how discipline turned routine into transformation. I used discipline to tame my mind. It stopped chasing noise. It stopped following moods. It started obeying intention. And once my mind was trained, my results became predictable because they were no longer emotional. Discipline protected my energy. I no longer negotiated with distractions. I gave time only to what mattered. I wasn't busy, I was focused. And that focus was worth more than any hustle the world celebrated. You want success? Don't look at what the wealthy have. Look at what they repeat. Behind every fortune is a habit, and behind every habit is discipline. That's the foundation. That's the real flex. That's the formula. Now comment this. I move like my future depends on it because it does. You don't need louder plans. You need quieter discipline. Show up, lock in, and build the life that doesn't just look rich but feels aligned. I stopped looking for balance. I chose alignment, because when your values are clear, your discipline flows. I wasn't trying to do everything, I was doing the right things, and that focus multiplied everything I touched. Most people are reactive. They wake up and respond to life. I created a plan and life responded to me. That's what discipline gave me, structure with purpose. A map I didn't just read, I followed with conviction. I didn't need to change my life overnight. I needed to keep one promise to myself each day. That promise built trust. That trust became identity. And once your identity shifts, your reality follows. Discipline taught me how to delay gratification. I didn't need the rush. I needed the result, and because I stopped trading my future for feelings, I started experiencing rewards others only wish for. Discipline trades noise for clarity, urgency for legacy. I practiced showing up before I felt ready. I moved before I felt inspired, and that movement built belief. Discipline doesn't wait for motivation, it builds momentum, and momentum builds miracles. You'll be tempted to break the rhythm, to take the easy path, to tell yourself, I'll start again tomorrow. But tomorrow doesn't build trust. Today does. Every day you act despite resistance. You win. I made discipline non-negotiable. It wasn't a goal, it was a standard, and that standard shaped everything. My health, my mindset, my income, my relationships. The stronger my discipline, the simpler success became. Now comment this: my habits are wealth in motion, because wealth isn't just a bank account, it's a lifestyle built on aligned behavior. And when your discipline becomes who you are, the results become inevitable. Discipline didn't make my life rigid, it made it reliable. I knew where my time went, I knew what my day demanded, and because I followed through daily, success became a byproduct, not a surprise. You don't need a new plan, you need a deeper commitment to the one you already have. I didn't build 10 paths, I built one road and walked it, over and over, until that road became effortless, and that effort became wealth. The discipline don't look busy, they look grounded. Because they don't waste motion, they direct it. My calendar wasn't full, it was focused. Every hour had intention, every task had alignment. I used discipline to master my attention. I stopped chasing, I started creating, I stopped scrolling, I started building. Every hour reclaimed was a deposit into my future, and those deposits compounded into legacy. Where your focus goes, your fortune grows. Most people crave freedom, but freedom isn't the absence of structure, it's the result of discipline. When you lead your time serves you. When you control your focus, your future opens. I didn't need external accountability. I became my own leader. I didn't wait to be told what mattered. I decided. And that decision was enforced through discipline. Over time, my results started speaking louder than my words ever could. When things got hard, I didn't change the goal. I returned to discipline. Hard days don't require motivation. They require rhythm. I wasn't driven by hype. I was driven by who I said I'd become. Now comment this: I lead my life with structure, not emotion. Let it remind you, the wealthy don't feel their way into results. They follow through with focus, with order, with a daily standard that success can't ignore. I wasn't always the most talented, but I became the most consistent. While others waited to feel ready, I built systems, and those systems did the heavy lifting. Discipline replaced the need for talent with the power of repetition. I didn't focus on the outcome, I focused on the input. I asked myself, did I show up today? Did I keep my promise? If yes, I won, even without applause, because real wins are built in private before they shine in public. When emotions pulled me in every direction, discipline brought me back. It became my anchor, my compass, my guardrail. I didn't follow how I felt. I followed what I committed to. And that gave me strength most never find. The rich don't have more time. They have tighter focus. Their attention is currency, and discipline is the vault that protects it. I stopped leaking energy, I directed it, and every focused hour paid me back with results. Success isn't loud, it's scheduled. I let go of the myth of balance. Some days required more, some tasks demanded all of me, and that was okay, because discipline isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. And aligned effort always multiplies. I stopped asking, what do I feel like doing, and started asking, what would the wealthy version of me do? Then I did that, again and again. That's how discipline turned into character, and character turned into income. I became more calm, not because life got easier, but because I got clearer. Discipline silenced the noise. I didn't need a million paths. I needed one I could walk with intention. and I walked it, until results had no choice but to arrive. Now comment this: I'm not waiting, I'm walking. Let it anchor you. This isn't about someday, it's about today. Your steps don't need to be big, they need to be consistent. That's how wealth is built. That's how peace is earned. I stopped needing to feel ready. Readiness is a myth. Discipline said, go anyway. And the more I moved through resistance, the more I discovered it's not the work that's hard. It's the hesitation that makes it heavy. Discipline didn't just help me build wealth, it helped me protect it. I stopped chasing every idea. I stopped saying yes to every distraction. I became selective, focused, disciplined, and my peace grew as fast as my income. I didn't need to be extreme. I needed to be consistent. It wasn't about doing more, it was about doing what mattered daily. Small moves, repeated, beat giant moves abandoned. That's the formula most ignore. The world celebrates excitement. I celebrated execution. I didn't need to feel inspired. I needed to honor my routine. That routine became sacred, not because it was flashy, but because it was faithful. Faithfulness to routine builds freedom from fear. Discipline reprogrammed my identity. I stopped seeing myself as someone trying to succeed and started seeing myself as someone who simply follows through. That shift rewired my confidence from the inside out. I stopped fearing boredom. Repetition became my rhythm, because what feels boring at first becomes powerful with time. Mastery isn't found in novelty, it's found in depth. And discipline is what gives you access to that depth. The wealthy build discipline the way others build excuses. They train their minds, they structure their days, they protect their yes. And because I followed that example, I stopped hoping for results and started expecting them. Now comment this: I don't rely on motivation, I move with maturity, because that's what discipline is, maturity in motion. You stop waiting to feel right, you start doing what's right, and that decision compounds into a life you're proud of. I became predictable to myself. I knew I'd show up, I knew I'd finish. That internal reliability is rare. Most wait for conditions to align. I built alignment through action, and that daily action built unshakable belief. Discipline taught me to think long-term. I stopped asking what feels good now and started asking what builds me long-term. My choices matured, my priorities sharpened, and my future, it accelerated. I didn't force growth, I created space for it. Discipline gave me that space, fewer distractions, fewer decisions, more depth, more results. I no longer felt overwhelmed because I no longer scattered my focus. I stopped proving and started practicing. Discipline wasn't for applause, it was for peace. My calm wasn't because life got easier, it was because I got stronger. And that strength came from doing what mattered, even when it was hard. Discipline doesn't need attention, it creates it. The rich don't ask for permission to grow. They move with clarity. They follow through when no one claps. They track their effort like it matters, because it does. That's how I lived. Quietly, steadily, consistently. I used to seek balance. Now I seek alignment. Discipline gave me both, because when you move from truth, you don't burn out, you build. I didn't need more time. I needed fewer leaks in how I spent it. Every time I honored my structure, I honored my future. And every time I broke it, I learned. Discipline doesn't demand perfection, it demands presence. It reminds you who you are and where you're going. Now comment this: discipline is my identity now. Because once you stop treating it like a task and start wearing it like skin, you become unstoppable. And success becomes a rhythm you no longer chase, you live it. Refinement, I asked, how can I show up better, clearer, stronger today than yesterday? Discipline made my path predictable, and predictability made success a matter of time, not luck. Yes, I depended on motivation. My emotions stopped running the show. I led from values, from vision, from the man I was becoming, not the mood I was in. That shift changed everything. Moved with order. I didn't rush. I repeated. The world rewards urgency, but wealth rewards rhythm. And my rhythm was built one morning, one repetition, one promise at a time. I did it to be powerful. True discipline is invisible. It works when no one sees. It sharpens when no one claps. And that silence, that's where strength is forged. Discipline is quiet until your results speak. I reviewed, I learned, I refined. Discipline didn't just prepare me to win, it prepared me to rebuild, to adapt, to return to the mission faster than most even begin. I created them. My mornings were structured, my mind was calm, my plan was clear. I didn't need intensity, I needed clarity. And that clarity was born from repetition. The long road. Not because I was patient, but because I was done restarting. Every time you break the rhythm, you pay in confidence. I chose to keep the rhythm, and now it pays me daily. I repeat, let that sink in. The rich don't keep trying new things. They keep mastering the one that works. And the one that works is called discipline. Not just dreams, but structure. Not just goals, but timelines. I wasn't drifting, I was directing. And the more I directed, the more momentum I gained. I wasn't chasing wealth, I was attracting it through order. But the truth, it comes from working wiser, from knowing what matters and doing it daily. Discipline removes what's unnecessary, so results become unavoidable. For better habits. And when those habits took root, I realized I didn't need more, just better. Better thoughts, better focus, better use of the same 24 hours the world wastes. A heartbeat. You don't win by going fast, you win by not stopping. I treated each day like it mattered, because it did. And that steady rhythm built a life that no storm could shake. I needed to believe in my process, and every time I showed up, even when it was quiet, I cast a vote for who I was becoming. Those votes became unshakable identity. To go deep, not wide. The world wants fast. I wanted forever. And discipline gave me that foundation. Slow progress, done right, will always outrun loud shortcuts. Not because I hated them, but because I loved my mission more. My time became sacred. My energy became strategic. Discipline didn't shrink my world, it focused it. Powerful than my past. Because when you honor the process long enough, it rewrites your story. You stop being who you were and start becoming who you were always meant to be. Started trying to impress my future. Discipline was how I showed up with respect for who I could be. Not once a year, every day, quietly, repeatedly, without applause, but with purpose. Changed my standards. I stopped tolerating inconsistency. I stopped settling for almost. Discipline raised my minimums, and when your minimums rise, your life follows. Structured. I didn't let chaos dictate my direction. I anchored into my plan, into my habits, into my deeper why. And that steadiness? That's what wealth is built on. Just time. I stopped pouring myself into things that drained me. I became intentional, present, efficient. That's why I stopped burning out and started building up. What protects you? But it was about freedom. The freedom to create, to grow, to rest, to build a future I trusted. The rich don't chase freedom. They earn it through structure, identity. And identity is built through patterns, through promises kept, through quiet alignment with purpose. I wasn't waiting to feel like it. I was walking like it already belonged to me. Schedule, my goals, my focus. And through that simplicity, I found power. Because a disciplined life doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be consistent. Claim what's mine. Let that be your signal. You're not forcing life to cooperate. You're shaping life through structure. And with each small act of discipline, you become unstoppable. Started honoring consistency. Anyone can be motivated for a day. But discipline? That's what keeps you moving when motivation dies. And that's when real results begin to show. I created one. I protected my space. I guarded my time. I curated my inputs. Because when you take responsibility for your environment, you take control of your future. I earned respect from the one person who mattered most, myself. That internal respect changed the way I walked, talked, and worked. Because when you trust yourself, you move differently. Faster. I stopped spiraling from one bad moment. I returned to the rhythm. I didn't need perfection. I needed alignment. And every return to discipline made me stronger than the setback. Rise stronger. Clarity. Simplicity became my power. My day wasn't filled with decisions. It was filled with direction. That's how the rich think. Less confusion, more execution. When it was invisible, that's what most people avoid, and that's why most never get results. But I leaned in, and what began as repetition became transformation. Quiet progress satisfied me because I knew that discipline compounds. And when you add up small, focused days, you eventually live a life that looks like magic to everyone else. But my results will be loud because discipline doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need to. It becomes the proof, the strength, the life others admire but rarely understand. I rose because I stayed when others quit. I showed up when it wasn't easy. I honored my word when no one noticed. Discipline made me reliable, and reliability made me rare. But I didn't start for ease. I started for impact. Discipline reminded me, resistance means I'm in the right place. I didn't retreat. I leaned in, and I kept moving. Would that version of me be proud of today? That question changed my standards, and my standards changed my story. And who keeps showing up. Not loud, not perfect, just present, just disciplined. That version doesn't need luck. That version creates results. It becomes it. Habits became my armor. I didn't just survive pressure, I thrived in it, because my life wasn't left to chance. It was led by choice, and choice, repeated, becomes power. Living by decision. That shift gave me peace. I no longer rode the roller coaster of feeling. I walked the staircase of progress, and each step was built by discipline. Doubt, delay, and self-sabotage. I didn't need to wonder who I was anymore. My actions answered that, quietly, consistently, fully aligned with my future. Finds me now. Say it with confidence, because the old you hesitated. The new you honors structure. And that structure, it's no longer something you follow, it's something you are. Follow discipline, and growth finds me. That's the shift. When you stop forcing success and start honoring structure, everything aligns, slowly, quietly, but surely. I had a mission, and the mission guided every morning, every task, every decision. Discipline turned the fog into focus, and focus turned minutes into milestones. It was mental, emotional, spiritual. I didn't just earn more, I became more, and the currency I used wasn't luck or hype, it was commitment. Discipline taught me to act first, and that action created momentum. Momentum created belief, and belief created breakthroughs that motivation never could. In inches, quiet inches, invisible ones, but every step mattered. And because I stayed the course, I now stand where others thought impossible. Not by chance, but by design. My results spoke, my energy shifted, discipline became visible, not in my words but in my peace, in my presence, in the life I lived when no one was watching. Or you don't, and when you live it long enough, it rewires everything, your self-worth, your relationships, your direction. Discipline isn't one part of success, it is the frame. I embody it through discipline. Because when you become the structure, success becomes the outcome. Natural, consistent, powerful. Some days I move fast, others slow, but I never stopped. That's discipline. And that's why I built wealth. Not because I rushed, but because I never quit. A calm certainty, a clarity that others feel when you enter the room. It's not ego, it's embodiment. And people don't follow noise, they follow order. It isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters better. I built less, but I built deeper. And that depth became my difference. Needed repetition. I didn't need more information. I needed more execution. And once I started honoring that simplicity, everything else became easier to ignore. That matters. Show up for it every day, no matter what. And watch how fast your old limits fade. That's not magic. It's discipline. I'm the kind of person who success looks for, and I did that through structure, through follow-through, through commitment stronger than circumstance. Stability, more direction, and discipline is what gives you both. That's why the wealthy build habits, not just hustle. Every day I rise. Let that be your anchor, because it's not about how you feel today, it's about what you're becoming tomorrow. Chose differently. I chose to honor the small things. I chose to protect my focus. I chose the boring over the flashy, and those choices paid me in peace, power, and prosperity. And that's fixable, not with motivation but with movement. Pick the standard, keep the promise, repeat the rhythm, and everything you want becomes reachable. Start designing. It's how you shift from reacting to creating, from doubting to declaring, from wishing to becoming. My day. And that mastery compounded, one day at a time, until the life I once imagined became the life I now live. It's your fear. Discipline keeps you aligned with the former. It keeps you walking, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Your discipline declaration below and share it with someone who's tired of restarting and ready to rise. This is a new foundation, one built on structure, one built on follow-through. And the more you build it, the more unshakable you become. Just make me rich. It made me free. It made me unstoppable. And it will do the same for you.